There's a couple of books I wanted to mention. One is the seer, the visionary, the prophetess, you might say. And she put people like Muhammad in the shade when we talk about prophets. Marie-Julie Jahenny, you may or may not have heard of her, but she lived in France. In fact, the time you'd want to live, if you ever wanted to live, in a way, to see so much. She was born in 1850, died in 1941. So imagine that's got to be the most momentous time in history, really. And she basically starts having visions from about the 1870s. And Jesus, the Blessed Mother, appears to her, but they give her messages about the future, particularly of France. And these visions go from, the 1870s through to the eve of her death in 1941. I think the last one may be February 1941. And she's told about how civil war is going to come to France. In fact, Paris is going to be destroyed. Now that's I think the earliest time she's told that is in 1876. Now we'd had, things going a bit mad. Well, in 1870, there was the Franco-Prussian War. So, stupid French emperor declares war on Prussia, and Prussia then hammers the French army and surrounds. There's a great battle in a place called Sedan. The French surrender in the end. But this kind of firepower, which is amazing, Émile Zola writes a novel called La Debacle. So the French debacle. And it's basically signals the fall of the Second Empire, I think, which he particularly wanted to write about this because he's been writing about the decadence of that period in France. And so this is a culmination of that. But you see how mechanized or how modern warfare is reached. We know World War I is highly, technologically developed, but it's already there by 1870. And it's talking about how soldiers, or numerous soldiers, they're maimed and they're in the field hospital and they're just having their limbs chopped off left, right and centre. And he describes this big pile of arms and legs, which is kind of unprecedented in previous warfare. So that's the setting of what warfare is like, but never, nonetheless, can we think of an entire city being destroyed. And yet, her vision is of Paris utterly destroyed, except for that, I think, the Ile de la Cité, which is where Notre Dame de Paris is. And though it's damaged, I think it's not destroyed. And part of the reason, and by the way, Paris will never be populated again to eternity. Till the end of the world, never be populated again. And that's unusual, because you think, well, okay, if it's destroyed, then eventually you can clear away the rubble and rebuild again. But no. And that makes me think of nuclear weapons,
Yeah.
And the place will be uninhabitable. And the power that only nuclear weapons have.
It wasn't the French Revolution you talked about, it's some future event.
A future event, yeah. She gets the vision from Christ in 1876 about the future. And it's always described as being near, but then from my reading of mystics and what Jesus says, they always speak of things being soon. And when you get St. Paul's writings, you get him talking as if Christ is returning soon. Because and when I write, my interest in Maria Valtorta, when Jesus is speaking about St. Paul and those particular passages, he's saying how the seers, the visionaries, they see from almost God's perspective, how what may appear to us a long time is short in the perspective of God and in the time and in the perspective of salvation time.